Good morning, everyone. It's me again, Al Brown Spencer. Today is Sunday, the 6th of July 2025, and it is just past 10 o'clock in the morning. I am getting ready so I can go and have a swim and have a shower on the beach and so on. This is my only source of cleaning myself and so on, although it is not as good or as, actually having a shower, a normal shower, and so on, or a bath. I am still being dosed till the moment I am, until yesterday. I don't know if I eat and drink today, what's going to be the situation. And if you have watched my previous video that I just posted today, and I recorded about a day ago or 2 days ago, because of the beer that has no alcohol and that has kept me awake all night, although I was so tired and so on. And by the way, I have just woken up, and you can see that I've just woken up and so on. And I'm deliberately doing this just for the people to see the effect that, these drugs really, getting into me and so on. Although the fact that my abusers somehow, I don't know, are giving me some drugs to give me energy and so on. And I'm saying so because of yesterday. Normally my normal energy, and this is my normality. I mean, I'm talking about my normality nowadays, because when I was younger, I was known for that I can do activities and sports and all of this even without eating or drinking, even for the whole day. But now I'm not as young as I was at that time. I mean, it's a fact. Everyone gets older and so on. And my fitness level is not the same. And I'm talking about fitness level in terms of my cardiovascular fitness, my flexibility, and so on. So anyway, yesterday, for example, it was not normal for me. The normality for me that I can go spearfishing or go in the water, maybe, for 5 hours. And 5 hours, I would be getting out of the water, hungry and tired and all of this. However, yesterday, I went in the water at 10 o'clock and time passed so quickly. And I dived and I snorkeled and I did lots of activities for, as spear fisherman. And I got out of the water and actually I checked the time, and it was 6:30 in the evening. So I stayed in the water 8.5 hours spear fishing, and I got out of the water and I wasn't feeling any tiredness, and I wasn't feeling bad at all. Actually, I had energy to go to the town and buy stuff. I'm so sorry. And stay awake and so on until 4 o'clock in the morning to cook the fish that I caught and so on. Otherwise they would go off because I have no fridge. I cannot operate the fridge because no electricity and so on. So yeah, that wasn't normal, and I am 100% sure there might be a chance that they have dosed me with kind of drugs to lift my energy and so on, and whatever they have done it for, I don't know. All what I believe in and all what I know and all what I want to stress on, that no one has the right to dose me with any drugs, no matter what. And I'm talking about no one under any circumstances. And this is another reason my campaign, once I get supporters who support me and people start to know me and so on, I will be leading a campaign to limit the authority and the power that the Mental Health Act has. Because with the Mental Health Act, and some medical, other medical conditions and so on, they can actually, and that's what they have been doing to me for so long. They can actually dose people and keep them under chemical dosing program, and they can put you in a mental health hospital, confiscate your liberty, your freedom, everything, and confiscate your free will, and they treat you like an object or a kid that they are just doing to you everything. And actually, that's what they have been doing to me for so long. So in the UK, for example, when they got me in a mental health hospital, and after I got out and so on, and I couldn't prove it. And that's why I will be contacting the national police again, and I'm gonna give them some papers and some documents and all of this, and explain to them that I'm still being dosed and my abusers are still performing psychological tests on me till the moment, even here in Spain. And I have a great belief that the local police, because here in Spain there are different police. That's what they told me. There is like the national police who's dealing with my asylum request and asylum application, and there is the local police who deals with other stuff, like when my mobile phone was taken. And I'm saying taken because my mobile phone 3-4 days ago, when I was in the water spearfishing, someone took my mobile, and whatever, I mean, whoever did this and whatever they did this for, it wasn't stolen. I mean, not someone randomly that found a bag on the beach and decided to take my mobile. And there are so many reasons why I'm saying so, and because they left something as well. So it's complicated. So they took my phone and left something else as a sign. It's complicated, but I would be giving details and so on. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the local police is involved, and they know that I know this, and maybe they act upon, or they act from this context that, oh, he knows and blah blah blah, and okay, that's a consent. Of course it's not a consent. I mean, if the local police here in Spain, or in San Sebastian, to be in particular and precise, they know about my abusers, and they are allowing them to perform their tests, psychological tests and social tests about me and so on, without my knowledge. I will be requesting from the national police clarity for any allegations, formal or informal. Even if the local police here is involved, I have the right to be informed, and I have the right to react and so on. And even if there is an investigation or whatever that based even on bullshit, which is bullshit all the time, that's what they do, and this is the reality, and this is the case, I still have the right to know what's going on, regardless of any claim from the police or the authorities from the country where I was born, or whichever other authorities they might claim that there is no clarity because that might have harmed the investigation, or blah blah blah, and all of this bullshit that the authorities give and so on. Still, I have the right to know what's going on, and I have the right to know if there is any formal allegations or formal investigation or anything that the police is taking part of, whether against me or with me and so on. The reason I'm saying so, because clarity is very important for me in this stage of my life. After all what I've been through and trying in so many countries, and coming to Spain here as a refugee, as someone who is asking for help, for protection, and for justice most of all, and so on, that they can carry on doing investigation and keeping me as the suspect rather than the victim. The reality is that I am the victim. I'm the person that the authorities and people from the authorities used their authorities and destroyed my life and did to me unbelievable stuff. So the authorities, this is the time when they must acknowledge this, and they must act upon it like this, rather than what the authorities of my abusers, or my abusers with their authorities, that they use against me everywhere I go. And everywhere I go, they stir problems and stir, they pitch up their circus and turn me into a suspect or someone that they investigate. And they use this to force any local authority or any police, for example, wherever I go, to be used against me. So they make investigation out of nothing against me. So they put me in the position of the person who is being investigated, rather than someone that needs protection and help and asylum. And I'm going to make it clear to the national police, and I'm going to make it clear that I need clarity, and I need, if the local police here in Spain is involved, I need clarity, and I need to be informed, and I need to know exactly what is going on. This is my right. The other thing that I want to make clear as well, I am homeless and I'm sleeping in the van. I have been asking so many people every day to help me with accommodation and the job and so on, and so far nothing. Yes, some people help me with some money and so on, but still nothing. I'm still sleeping in this coffin, and the conditions are not good at all, in terms of the hygiene of the van and so on. I still have no job. I still have no money. I still have no justice whatsoever. And yeah, the situation is getting worse every day because of the van and sleeping in the van and all of this, and of course not having money, and relying on asking people for help to give me money and so on. So yeah, I am trying my best and so on. And the other thing that I would like to highlight here, that regardless of anyone who's trying to make it look like it's something big and this and that, I have the right to go and spear fishing. And even if there is regulation here that I need to get a license and so on and pay for it, I don't have money to pay for the license. I don't have an address to register and as address and so on. And above all of this, someone yesterday told me that the spear gun is a weapon and it's dangerous, and you have to have like a license and so on. I do understand and I acknowledge this and I took it on board, but I need to highlight one important thing. A spear gun is not a weapon, is a tool to hunt, is like a fishing rod or whatever. But it happened that it's a projectile as well. I mean, like, it's not like a gun, a real gun and so on. But the spear itself is like projectile. This is what we hunt the fish with. And yes, anything can be dangerous. I mean, not just a spear gun. I mean, in my point of view, a knife is more dangerous than a spear gun. Because even if you give a spear gun to someone who's a maniac or who's dangerous or violent and aggressive and so on, yes, they can harm someone severely with it. And actually, like, death is almost certain if someone, irresponsible, use a spear gun and attack someone and so on, because a spear gun is powerful and so on, and most probably it will be lethal, and it can kill someone. But it wouldn't I mean, this person wouldn't be capable of doing it again, because it takes so much effort to load a spear gun and so on, and also dry firing a spear gun and so on is not accurate. So the possibilities is, yes, it's powerful, it's dangerous, it can kill someone, but it's limited in terms of how to be someone to use it and so on. However, the knife, on the other hand, if some maniac or someone who's irresponsible or crazy or whatever has a knife in their hand, they can actually attack so many people, and they can actually kill so many people, because knife is dangerous. Knife can inflict even worse harm and worse injuries than a spear gun at some point. So what I'm trying to make, or what I'm trying to explain here, is a spear gun is, yes, is powerful and it can be deadly and so on. However, it's limited, and it's not a weapon as a weapon. A spear gun is a tool to catch fish, and it only can be used underwater, because the steel spear itself is heavy, and even in the air, the velocity can be more, because the resistance of the environment, or what it's going through, is lighter than the water and so on. But still, it's meant to be in the water and so on, and it's not even accurate. Do you know what I mean? Outside of the water, because it's meant to go through this, to environment, which is the water and so on. This is as much as I understand about the spear and so on, and of what I can explain in this video. So anyway, back again to the main point. Yes, a spear gun can be deadly and it's dangerous, but it's limited, and it's not a weapon, it's a tool to catch fish. A knife is more dangerous than a spear gun. And if you give, and of course, I wouldn't want anyone to do this, but if somehow a maniac use a spear gun to attack people, they more likely can injure one person. But if you give a maniac a knife or whatever, they can actually, do inflict lots of harm on many people with just one knife and so on. Because I'm saying so because when I was in the UK myself, I was gonna be a victim of a knife attack, and someone tried to stick a deboning knife, which is really, really dangerous and strong, into my head 3 times. And because I protected myself and so on, I was gonna get killed on that night. And knives are very, 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 very dangerous. It's more dangerous than a spear gun and so on. So anyway, a spear gun is a tool for fishing, and with all respect, even if I need a license and so on, for me, because of my circumstances and so on, spear fishing is a source of food, and above all of this, it is helping me to cope with my circumstances. The happiness that I get when I go and catch fish with my spear gun, and eat and all of this, and provide for myself, especially, it's the main food, it's the main source of protein for me. I mean, even when people help me with money, I still cannot go and buy, like, a whole chicken and cook it like I used to, because I don't have facilities, or steak, or this or that. It's not the same living in a van and so on. And I'm also, the other source of protein that I'm relying on at the moment, besides spearfishing, is catching pigeons. So pigeons are they are very high in protein in terms of meat and so on. And I go and collect them from their nests. I found few nests around, also not that much, not that, it's not a lot, but it's still helping every now and again. And I have to admit, pigeons are so delicious, and I love eating them and so on, which is helping me as well. So yeah, I am not doing any crime by spearfishing, and even if there is regulations and rules here in Spain, I went to the police and I gave them a request and explanation for my situation, and a request and for permission to use my spear gun and spear fishing activities, and if it's a necessity, and I said it clearly in the papers, if it's a necessity for me to have the license, at least please consider my situation, that I don't have money or an address and so on, and please issue me with the necessary documents as a kind of exemption or exception, so I can carry on spearfishing and so on. But someone yesterday was so aggressive in tone voice. So I would say, I wouldn't say aggressive physically, but in tone, his voice and so on. And he was very offensive in the tone, but not with the verbs or verbally and so on. And he kept on, after 8.5 hours, of spearfishing and so on, and which normally someone would be knackered, would be like, they don't want to hear anything from anyone. They don't want to talk to anyone. They just want to, literally, get out of the water, clean their fish, and go, and maybe sleep and so on. And normally, if normally, am I in my normal physical abilities, I would be doing 5 hours and I would be tired and I need to go and so on. So anyway, someone approached me in the water with a windsurfing costume and on windsurfer and all of this. And somehow I was surfacing and they came next to me and there was no wind. Wind was 7 kilometers per hour yesterday, so there was no wind. There was no wind whatsoever. So for a windsurfer to go on a beach like this, where it's almost closed because there is an island in the middle that is, anyway, and on a wind surfing and so on. And guess what? It was the same guy who was in another beach that was like, I don't know, 500 meters from this beach. And he, anyway, the circumstances didn't make sense to me at all. Like windsurfing, no wind, it's 7 kilometers per hour, no wind gust whatsoever. And not only this, he was trying to windsurf where all the swimmers are. So, I mean, windsurfing, whether you're talking about people's safety and so on, it's windsurfer with a foil, with underwater foil for the board as well, which is more dangerous. You don't do this anywhere where there are swimmers whatsoever. I mean, when I was in France and many other countries, when I watched it on YouTube and so on, windsurfers, kite surfers, this new whatever surfers and so on, whenever they start surfing, yes, they launch like me, like a spear fisherman, they launch from the beach and so on. But they go straight away out of the water. And when they launch from the beach, they launch from a spot where there is no people whatsoever. I mean, when I was in Collignon beach in France, it's very famous there surfing, and because it's windy almost every day. And the conditions are good because the beach are so long that no matter how many people you have as swimmers, they swim, but then you have a part for the kite surfers, wind surfers, and so on to launch away and safe. But this guy yesterday was in the water where there are lots of swimmers everywhere, recreation swimmers and people trying to compete, and everyone, even tourists and so on. And he was so angry and with a voice and blah, 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 talking to someone who has been in the water for 8.5 hours spearfishing. And in my opinion, if anyone else, been in the water like this and they get approached by someone like this, they would have been aggressive back and all of this. But I was so understanding, and I started to talk to him and I started to explain to him the situation and so on. After, of course, is asking him what's his problem and so on. And he told me, oh, no, I told him I contacted the police and so on. And he said, no, you have to go and contact the water police. And he insisted that, no, it's different. You have to go to the water police, which I will be on Monday. And even if I cannot find their office, I will go to the nearest police station to the beach, and I'm going to give them a paper with my request, with my papers and documents, requesting from them the same papers I gave to the local police, to ask them to allow me to do my spearfishing activities without the formality, or to, as an exception, to provide me with the license, providing they will accept that I don't have any money to pay and I don't have an address and so on. But yeah, but in my opinion, in my very, very, I would say not personal opinion, but it's clear to me a little bit. I would say this situation yesterday, after 8.5 hours from me in the water speed fishing, for this guy and the lifeguard and so on, these were all again its social and temperamental test. So they were testing my temperament and my reaction after being in the water for so long and so on, and physically down. How would I react to voice aggression or a situation like this and so on, which brings me back to the same point I made before. The psychological, they pitch up their circus and they getting people to get involved with them. These bastards have been repeating these kinds of situations and scenarios and tests for my temperament and psychological, I don't know, understanding and so on, over and over and over again. In England, in Germany, in France, even in Ireland, the short period I stayed there and so on. And they don't stop, because for them, it's the same reasons they use with their authorities, of course, to have authorities over me. So people would understand, oh yeah, we're trying to, test his aggression, he's aggressive or not, or whatever, when he's tired, when he doesn't have a sleep, when he's this, when he's that, and people just follow people, okay, authorities and so on, and cooperate. So again, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is my understanding. Yesterday, these two situations, this guy and the lifeguard, they were purely to test my temperament after long time of activities and being tired and so on. And no one has the right to do so, even if my abusers, who are now trying to prove to people that they are helping rather than harming. And I mean, I'm trying to stress on this so many times that I know for sure they are trying to prove to people that they are trying to help or they are trying to fix and so on. And all what I'm saying is because I'm misunderstood, or I'm still, I still misunderstand, and because of what was done to me, I'm holding them responsible all the time, even when they are trying to help, blah, 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 and all of this. Which is, even if it's true that they are trying to help genuinely, the help that I need is much, much, much more than this, and has to be concentrated in one direction. And this direction is justice. Getting justice, getting my compensations and so on. And even if they would say, actually, this is what they are trying to do, proving to everyone that, this guy is okay, this guy temperamentally, this guy has no problem mentally or socially or, and so on. Justice is taking too long, and even if they are doing this, they are putting me under great stress all the time. I came to Spain as a refugee, asking for protection, asking for justice and so on. And I don't want to go through these situations, social and psychological. Even if I say it, I call it abuse, and they call it tests or evaluation or whatever. It is for me abuse. No one has the right to do this. No one has the right to test my temperament and so on. I'm a human being, and I have the right to be angry. I have the right to be upset. I have the right to snap at people and show them that I'm angry, or to stop them from something they do, and to protect myself and so on. And being. Have I said that? I have been like this for years, even since I was young. Even some people were upset that I am so friendly and so good to people, even those who did something to me wrong and whatever. And even, I know for sure that at some point some people were telling me, no, you have to change, you have to be hard with people, you have blah blah blah. Anyway, this is me. I love people and I don't like to harm people. I don't like to embarrass people. I like to help people and so on. And they know this very well. And imagine when they create the problem, so they try to create a solution. This is exactly what they did. In my life, this is what exactly they did to me. I mean, in my life, I do my best to not to give anyone any chance to interfere in my life or to have, the right to do anything to me and so on. But because they know this, they changed things. So they created the problem to create the solution, or to give themselves the right to actually, oh, we're trying to find a solution or trying to find the truth or whatever. So, in other words, for me, this is not helping. This is more abuse. Even if some people would say, yeah, but they don't know you here in Spain and so on. But this is exactly what they do everywhere. I mean, for example, I left the UK after failing to get justice and all of this. And I went to Germany with all the intention to stay in Germany and make it home and fight to get justice there and so on. And I was so happy to stay in Germany and make it home and stay in it and achieve my dreams. And for me, it was home. I mean, Zerksdorf was home. And they didn't allow this because they have a scenario, they have a plan, and they have me in their agenda. And Germany, for them to keep me in Germany, was just temporarily. It was just, what can I say? If there is any expression I can express or say, it was just, I don't know. I don't want to use any expression that might be, wrong or taken against me or whatever. But for me, Germany was home. For them, it was just a period of time. And they know they could get me out of there, and move me to somewhere else, even without, forcing and so on. But of course, they did it with force. I mean, like, no jobs, no money, no place to live, conditions bad, blah, 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 and all of this. And drug dosing all the time, over and over, every day, and so on. Of course, they managed to force me to leave, and so on. And then France, no chance. And then Ireland, again, no chance, and so on. And here in Spain, and every time and every place I went to, they do it again and again. It's like I don't know. It's like they pitch their circus everywhere and do the same over and over and over and over again, and repeat it again, again and again and again. Social and psychological tests everywhere I go. They use the local police against me and so on, and this and that. And not only this, they are trying to make people believe that this guy is misunderstanding. We're helping this guy, but this guy doesn't understand what they are doing. Like, for example, when I was in Ireland and I was leafleting, the police arrested me. Well, not arrested, but detained me. So when I was leafleting, they came to the van after I leafleted for a day, and they knocked on the van, and they took me to the police station. They said that I was under detention. And not only this, they said to me that they suspected that mentally I wasn't right, and that they had to test me or examine me and get like a doctor or someone to talk to me, to examine me and so on, blah, 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 because they thought, or what the officers, the police officers said to me, that they thought or they believed that I wasn't right in the head, or psychologically I wasn't right. And guess what? When they took me to the police station in Ireland and so on, an Arab Muslim psychiatrist or whatever came to see me and talk to me. So they forced me to talk to an Arab and Muslim, I don't know, psychological psychiatrist or whatever it was, the job he was doing and so on. And of course, I had to speak with that guy and so on, who in the end wrote a letter, said that this guy is okay, but maybe he has a hard time, blah, blah, blah. So from this situation, look, everyone, they are trying to show that this guy misunderstanding. They did this deliberately so they can break any kind of, you know, misunderstanding about me, about my psychology, or this guy is dangerous, or blah, 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 and so on. So it's a report, a formal report that showed that this guy was examined by someone professional and they said he's okay, and so on. And they were helping, but in a way that will allow misunderstanding for me and jumping to conclusion and so on. And even if this was the reality, and even though this was the fact and so on, for me, I didn't like the situation, I didn't like what was happening, and so on. And again, the way they fix things are weird and can cause more trouble. Imagine if I lost my temperament because this guy was Arab and Muslim and so on. It would have been much, much, much worse for me. And this is what they do, and this is what I want to stress on. Even when they try to help, they help in a way that can lead to more complications for me if things don't go well. So when they help in a way that it's two ways. It's like, you know, in two ways. It's like a knife with two blades or two-sided blades. It's going to cut either way. So what they do, it's like, okay, they were helping this guy, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, if anything goes wrong, this guy, it's going to be very, very bad for this guy. And above all of this, they're benefited because, okay, I was forced to speak with an Arab Muslim, and I know it was an Arab and Muslim guy. Anyway, maybe someone out there who's listening and watching to this understands what I mean, even if words cannot help me to express what I want to say 100%. Also, here in Spain, they have pitched the circus in terms of Arabs everywhere I go. In the shop, Arabs. Behind me in the till, Arabs. It's unbelievable. And for me, whether even if this is how they're trying to help and fix things and so on, as I said, they make situations where it could go even worse if I lose my temper and so on, which is not going to happen because, as I said, I don't, I'm not an aggressive person. I don't attack people and so on. Yes, I would protect myself and self-defense myself. If, like in England, when that guy tried to stab me with the deboning knife 3 times in my head in less than to 1 minute, I protected myself by swaying and so on. And when he came after me in the car, I used the cable to fend him off because he still had the knife and so on. So I can self-defense myself and so on. And I'm this kind of a person that I don't wait for any moment that I can, whoa, self-defense, here you go, bang. I don't do this. As I said, I love people. I don't exaggerate if I self-defense. I don't harm people. Yes, if I have to self-defense, I will try to stop people so, nothing goes wrong and so on. But I still care about these people, that I don't harm them and so on. People who know me very well will understand this, because even when I was young, I was in so many situations and so on. And what I did was just to stop the attack rather than carry on and so on. Yeah, the same with family. When I protect my family, I mean, like daughters, nephews, nieces, brothers, sisters, and so on. This is self-defense. Yes, it's not the very self, but my family is me, and so on. So yeah, all what I can say is I'm still being dosed. No one has the right to dose me with any drugs. I will be presenting it to the National Police for the continuous and non-stop psychological and social tests and scenarios and interference I am experiencing here in Spain, and I will be giving them details. And I will be going to the water police, or at least go to the nearest police station and leave them a letter to forward to the water police with my request and explanation for my situation, and request that I carry on my spearfishing activities. And I will be sending a letter to the asylum solicitor in order to get things going, and for the asylum and my asylum case and so on. And I'm still doing my best here in San Sebastian. I'm still trying to find justice and get justice for what was done to me, because simply, without going into details, which I will be putting in another video and so on, I wrote it down in my leaflet. I mean, justice. I wrote what is justice in for me in my leaflet. So there is a section in the page number, I think 3. So page number 3, there is a section in the bottom where of the page where I say, this is the justice I'm looking for, and this is the justice I want to achieve. And yeah, this is my goal, justice, and I need help to achieve justice, because if I get justice, just the compensations for everything they did to me, I will have enough money to do everything I want in life, and I will still have lots of money left. Imagine any money they owe me, or any money I own that I own and I don't know about, and so on. And anyone who's wondering what I mean by any money I own and I don't know about, trust me, this is another story and another subject that can take long time to explain. And it takes people who are open-minded, and who don't jump to conclusion, because it's reality. It's not because I'm saying it, it's reality. But as then again, I have no proof or evidence to prove it, and so on. Only the authorities in the country where I was born, these bastards, they have the proof. They have everything that they can present, and I can get not just justice, but justice and everything I own, and so on. So yeah, this is justice I'm looking for, and I'm still trying my best to get justice and get my life sorted, and let's start living again, and so on. and I want not just to start my businesses and so on. As I said, there are three things in my mind, which is everything for me in life. This is what I'm living for. Those three things are everything I'm living for. Number one, farming business, my I don't know, like everything, like farming business and other businesses and so on. Number two, family, big family. I want to have a very, very big family. And number three, my hobbies. And my hobbies are simple, like spearfishing, swimming, boating, everything to do with the water, really. But I mean, like, this is another subject that I want to talk about in another video. But when I say everything to do with the water, I mean everything that I like that to do with the water. So spearfishing, free diving, boating, and so on. I'm saying so because it has been for a while people trying to get me interested in scuba diving, which will never happen. I don't like scuba diving. I don't like it. I don't want it, and I will never do it. And when I have money, I will never put a penny in scuba diving, no matter what. This is, like, end of story. And this applies on many other things that I don't like or believe in life, which I don't have to list everything, but everyone. I mean, for me, I know what I want in life, and even if as a kind of business, I would never invest in something like this. I would never invest in, when I have money, I would never invest in scuba diving or shit. I mean, like, not for me, and so on. So yeah, anyway, water and the air. I love skydiving, and I want to do wingsuit flying, and I want flying planes and hang gliders and so on. Hunting. Oh my word, I love hunting. I love hunting for providing, and at the same time, I love the adventure itself of providing and hunting and so on. So yeah, hunting, and I love hunting. And when I say I love hunting in many ways. I mean with a rifle, but of course I don't have a rifle at the moment. And when I had a rifle, it was an air rifle and so on. But I'm talking about when I have the chance, I will have proper gun, and go hunting wild boars and deer and other animals and so on. And again for food or protection for my farm or land when I have my farm and land, like for example, terminating or I'm sorry to say so, and I know that some people wouldn't like it, but this is me, and I'm not gonna change myself, because animals that attack farms, like wolves, like coyotes, like foxes, and so on. For me, these animals, I would happily and gladly shoot these, like foxes and wolves and coyotes and so on, without hesitation, because they are harmful being, and they harm people. I mean, eating livestock or destroying livestock, whether chickens or lambs or whatever, that is harming people, harming me as a farmer, and harming people. And anything that is not a human and harm people, it must be exterminated. I mean, eradicated 100%. This is what I believe in, regardless of what other people might think. So yeah, I love hunting and so on. I love, swimming, free diving, spearfishing, boating, flying, hang gliding, skydiving, and wingsuit, and all of flying and so on. And big family. And when I say big family, I really want a big family. I I mean, I don't know how else I can express myself or say this. I'm in my 40s now, and I'm still trying to start my life. This is how these bastards destroyed my life and brought me, to my knees. They literally destroyed my life completely and wasted decades of my life. And even, I am in my 40s. I know that there are girls out there who are who might be much younger than me, and they wouldn't mind to start a family with a man like me and fulfill my dream of having a big family. And I am not bad after all. I mean, I'm not saying so because I'm just saying it and it's me and so on, but I'm saying so because, I'm a very loving person in reality, and my personal life. And you know uh, I mean, I don't know what to say. All what I can say is, I mean, I don't mistreat any female. I mean, I love people in general and help people, and all of this, but on top of this, I don't mistreat any female. I liked, to make people feel good and all of this regardless. And when I have, a family and so on, my family would be everything for me. I mean, and I am sure there are girls out there who, you know, who would be the style and the girls I'm looking for. And yeah, they wouldn't mind to fulfill my dream and, start a family and with me and so on. But most importantly, I am not just looking for, girls who would just come on board to fulfill this guy dream or whatever. But I'm actually looking for love as well. I'm looking for, girls who would understand that, I want them to love me, not just to, to be my family. Love is very important. Love is really, really important, and feelings and so on. And I want to be loved rather than just, family, if you know what I mean. Uh, this is really important for me. It's a big difference. It's big difference. Um, I don't know how to express myself, but I don't know if you allow me to say so. I mean, if I am in a relationship and I have a girl that I actually fancy and she's what I'm looking for and so on, I definitely would be, for example, enjoying kissing her. But it would be much, 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 much more. Uh, uh, um, I don't know what to say. It would be nicer and sweeter when she kisses me, when I know that she actually in love with me rather than that, she's just with me because, family or whatever. That makes big difference to me. Love is very important. Love in a relationship is very important, and when love is absent, it's just being family. And I've been there before, and it wasn't as nice. Although, yeah, life was going on and so on, but it wasn't the same. So in other words, I am looking for love as well, not just to fulfill my dream of a very big family, lots of babies, making lots of babies. But to make babies, there must be some love there. There must be love, because otherwise it would be just, what would be the difference between, us human beings and just animals breeding and so on. So there must be love there. There must be feelings. There must be assurance that someone, we were together because there is love. There are feelings, and so on. I can go on talking about this forever, but this video is just about, you know, giving information about things, and that led to me ending this video with something about my family and so on. Starting a family and so on. So I will stop here, and yeah, thank you very much for watching my video. And if you're a genuine person who can speak English very well and you are Spanish and you're watching this, please know for sure that I need everyone's help and everyone's support so I can get justice and expose my abusers, and yeah, no one else could fall for their you know misconduct and wrath when they get angry and upset and use their authorities. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. You have a great weekend, and hopefully, everyone out there is okay and enjoying their time. Thank you. Bye.